Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Friday, the 5th of May, 2023. An interesting day today because we swung away from the content that I was doing yesterday, the games, and did two completely different games with the continuation of my Elden Ring Glintstone Sorceries run, as well as returning to Oblivion and the Shivering Isles DLC, although admittedly, the first half of tonight's DLC night was kind of bad, and I'll explain in a moment. We also had a level 1 podcast with a different version of the intro that I had introduced yesterday. What I actually have now is a longer version of this intro that's about 60 seconds long and a 20-second version. And what I'm planning to do is alternate. If I have a day where I know I have a lot to talk about, I'll do kind of like a little preview bumper, appear on screen first and be like, hey, here's what's coming, then play the quick intro and then get to the show. If I have a day that I don't particularly have too much to talk about, I'll play the longer intro. So it's good to have options, right? People in general seem to like the new intro, which is good. I think that the intro is nice and it's all original content, so hopefully it would avoid any kind of bullshit false copyright strikes on YouTube. Level 1 podcast today was pretty good. We had a lot to talk about. Updates on my Jedi Survivor playthrough. We talked more about various topics like Phil Spencer's interview, about Xbox not competing directly with Microsoft Sony and Nintendo. That's ridiculous in my opinion, among other things. So it was a good show. And then we got into Elden Ring, and today we chose first of all to do the Inverted Tower dungeon, which was fun to do. And then when the Inverted Tower was done, we went to Volcano Manor, and we got through the whole thing, got to the end. Now let me tell you, definitely with this magic run, some things are much harder. For example, now the bosses I fought today, like the Godskin Noble, that's the chubby one, the one that has the attacks where he rolls and everything, that is way harder with a magic build. Because with a standard melee build, you just avoid a couple attacks, you hit him with a couple staggers, he's done. In this case, I can't get hit. If I get hit by this guy, he kills me. So I have to be dodging constantly. I can't even get near him when he's rolling. I have to find ways to get him stuck on walls, to hit him with spells. It was kind of fun and interesting because it was so very different from playing the game the first time around. This guy had been essentially a pushover the first time around, and now he's actually challenging. So I got all the way to the end of Volcano Manor today, and then it was the Reichert boss, and come to find out, I'm like, dude, this is literally going to be the hardest boss in the game for me, besides maybe Melania. I mean it, too. Like, this boss now, okay, literally insta-kills me. One hit, I'm dead. It doesn't matter what kind of hit. If it's a bite, if it's the chomp, if it's the ground raise, whatever it may be, it insta-kills me. So, it's because I'm the glass cannon build of a mage where, basically, what ends up happening is you do insane amounts of damage output, and you have lots of FP, so you keep casting magic, but man, you can't take hits. So you gotta be dodging. It's like, dude, this is gonna be so hard. He's giant. And remember, the only way to hurt Reichert in the fight is to use this special spear that you find at the beginning, which is great, except it's slow. So basically, you can get a hit or two in, and then you have to start dodging constantly. This is going to be incredibly tough. I can't take a hit at all. And he has 2 phases. So I didn't even get close to beating the first phase. But then again, I only tried it for like 5-10 minutes because I ran out of time. Next time around, I guess maybe I'll give it a few more goes. And maybe if I feel it's just too early, and I come back later when maybe later on in the game I have put some more into vigor or whatever, then maybe I'll try. But for now, you know, I just couldn't make anything happen with it. All right. But we did still have great progress today. Tonight on the Oblivion stream. So this was weird, all right? Tonight's Oblivion stream threw me for a loop because now I go back to the guy in charge of this DLC, Shivering, and he's like, oh, thanks for doing the first leg of the story for me. Which was basically I had to take over a dungeon. I got attacked by these, like, troops called the Troops of Order. I guess it's the other Daedric god who's in competition with Shivering or whatever. And I had to do some booby traps to kill some adventurers or make them go crazy. So I pleased Shivering with this, and he's like, all right, your next mission, you got to talk to these 2 other people who are here and, like, get good standing with them or whatever. So the first guy goes, oh, you have to go to a cave, and in this cave there's a bunch of bugs or whatever, and inside, deep into the cave, there's a hidden chalice you need to get me, okay? So he's like, the only way to go in the cave and do this is to drink this poison, something like Fell Dew or something like this it's called. So basically what it is kind of like skooma. It's kind of like a drug. You drink it, and if you have it in you, you're all right, but it wears off after a couple of minutes, and once it wears off, now you're weak. You also have less endurance, so now you're over-encumbered. You can't swing, you can't heal, you can't do anything. Problem is, you can't just get the Fell Dew. You have to go through the dungeon and fight these bug creatures, and some of them just randomly drop it. It's not like, oh, you know this bug creature has it. You just have to start killing random creatures till some of them start dropping it. Also, the problem is the map doesn't really populate well, and the objectives aren't always clear, So you're going through this labyrinthian maze of bugs. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You have to hope that you run into the Feldu. If you don't, you get trapped and you can't continue. It's a fucking nightmare. It's actually, in my opinion, the worst part of the entire Oblivion playthrough that I've done up to this point was this dungeon. It was incredibly frustrating for me. And what should have been like maybe 15 minutes ended up lasting like 30 or more just because of the design of the dungeon being kind of flawed, in my opinion. I ended up pumping all of my healing and sorcery potions, and now I have none left. Problem being, I don't even know where to get more because we're in a DLC. It's not like there's standard vendors or anything around, so I don't even know how I'm going to get this back for the rest of the DLC. This is pretty frustrating. The good news is I got it done, but it really irked me the wrong way the whole first half of tonight's stream. Now, the second half was a little bit more interesting. There's apparently a conspiracy against a woman, and you need to investigate, and you have this torturer guy with you who just shocks them with lightning over and over until they tell you what you need them to tell you. It's supposed to be cruel but silly. Like, it's not meant to be taken seriously. It was all right. It was definitely better than the shitty bug dungeon, and I had a good time with it. But it's a little weird. I'm going to be honest with all of you now, and you can completely disagree with me. That's fine. But when I got into this Shivering Isles DLC, the reason I really bought it and I'm playing it is because tons of people told me, oh, Phil, this is like the best Bethesda DLC ever done. Like, literally, it's so ingenious and fun and interesting. You're going to love it. I'm going to be honest with you now. Now, I played it for about 5-6 hours. It's not great. It's just okay. Like, the bug dungeon was shit. The interrogation's okay. It's a lot more of the same kind of repetition. I don't really feel like I'm doing something original or interesting from the main plot. Quite frankly, having the Daedric Prince kind of be in charge, maybe at the time that this came out, this was original. Keep in mind, I've played Skyrim. I've been dealing with Daedra, you know, for Skyrim and everything. It doesn't feel original or interesting to me. It feels like I've kind of already done stuff like this, but this is a really drawn-out, extended one. Instead of just being one mission, now I got to do all these series of networked missions for this Daedric Prince, and it's taking a long time, and I'm kind of like, it's okay. It's just okay. It's not blowing me away. I think what it is maybe if when Oblivion was hot in 2006, people had finished it, and they were like, wow, what an immersive gaming experience. I really wish I could get more content out of it. And then Shivering Isles came out, and you're probably like, whoa, another 10 to 20 hours of gameplay. This is cool. And people jumped in. You know, at this point, I played Oblivion for 60 hours, right? It's a 60-hour playthrough. And I played Skyrim last year. That was like over a 100-hour playthrough. Yes, it's true. It's not exactly like I was fiending for more of the same gameplay, you understand? In fact, I was actually hoping maybe Shivering Isles was going to have something different to offer, and honestly, outside of this really cruel, twisted, dark-feeling humor to it, it does feel kind of like just a lot more of the same, with some annoying things like this bug dungeon tonight, okay? So, being honest here, I'm not blown away by this DLC. Now, I don't know how much is left in it. We have done several side missions at this point. I am looking for a few items. I need to do another few. And we are continuing on with the main quest line, which I don't actually know how long it is. I'm going to do it. I bought it. I'm playing it. But I just feel like maybe my opinion would be different than like the big fans of Oblivion. Because again, I'm playing it in 2023 after already having just played 60 hours of Oblivion, after having played over 100 hours of Skyrim last year. And it just feels more samey to me. And some of the design is annoying. I hope you don't take that the wrong way. I'm not trying to crap on it and say it's awful. I'm just saying it's not impressive like people had led me to believe it was. And maybe that's why the whole first hour tonight I was kind of bored. I was trying to rush through dialogue. Like, can I just play this? Stop blabbing. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Just fucking finish blabbing so I could go do the mission now because I'm bored, you know? The second half was better, though. So hopefully it won't remain at that level and it will be more entertaining moving forward. But I'm just sharing my thoughts on it. All right? Okay. So overall today, pretty good day, fun gameplay, good advancement, support was good as well, so everything, you know, no complaints, thank you for that. Tomorrow is our React Day of the week, so it'll have a Level 1 podcast here on DSP Gaming. Following the Level 1 podcast, there will be DSP versus the Internet, my weekly Clips React show. That's over on DSP Reacts, my sister channel. That's at DSP Reacts on YouTube or youtube.com/at DSP Reacts. Please go find it if you haven't yet. Give it a look. Maybe subscribe if you like that style of content. And starting 12:45 p.m., we'll head from here to over there and stream for 3 hours and react to everyone's submissions. Tomorrow night on the late stream, it's a continuation of Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster here on DSPGaming at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. That should be great. I'm enjoying that game very much, and we just got to the other world for an epic scene. The most epic scene of the game is actually coming up next session. That should be neat. Sunday, more Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the first stream. No late stream because Sunday I'm doing the private patron react videos. Monday, we will swing back to Elden Ring. Monday night, we're doing a tier maker stream, ranking all the Zelda video games over on DSP Reacts. That's going to be neat as a hype kind of build up for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on Friday. And then on Tuesday, probably more Jedi Survivor paired with possibly Oblivion. So there'll be more Oblivion this week before I have my day off on Wednesday. Okay? Hope that sounds good to everyone. One final thing. There's been a lot of misinformation being spread around about the possibility of me being involved in a podcast with Boogie and Wings. Some other people are interjecting themselves into the situation to have no involvement. I made a video special to explain the situation that I'm going to upload along with this one tonight, and I'm going to make that the featured video on this channel overnight so people know what the hell's going on. All right? So please watch that. That will fully explain the situation, and hopefully that will clear the air. The reason I made that special video is because I don't want to be talking about it constantly on my streams. I don't want it to derail my shit because I have shit to talk about already. I don't need like tonight. A big chunk of the Oblivion. People asking me about it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about this all fucking night. I want to do other stuff. So I made the video, and hopefully that's enough to clear the air. All right, guys? Give it a look. Thank you all. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace out. Later.